everybody. This is Aaron Breitman of the Scarlet Faithful. A little bit after Rutgers loses to Iowa for a second time this season, 93-82 is definitely the most points they've given up in a long time. I quickly glanced. They gave up 93 in a loss to Illinois in 4 seasons ago. That was in overtime. They gave up 93. Actually, maybe it was no, it was 99 in that loss to Illinois 4 years ago. They gave up 93 to Michigan State in Pikiell's first season. I think those two are kind of the only games they've given up that many points under Pikiell. It was a tough Iowa. Again, 12 of 24 from 3, 12 makes from 3. That's kind of the golden number against Rutgers. Both times with Iowa, Michigan State once. They hit that number. But the other story was, Iowa, 29 of 34 from the foul line, plus 19 differential from the foul line. Rutgers was 10 of 14, plus 18 3-point differential points. Rutgers was 6 of 15. So not terrible, 40% for Rutgers, but can't keep up with the volume. Overall, Iowa, it was the turnovers early for Rutgers that really cost them. 5 turnovers in the first 3 minutes, 13 first half turnovers overall. They turned it over 18 overall. Iowa points up for turnovers, 14 to 10 Iowa. But it was more that Rutgers just couldn't get into a flow offensively. A lot of dead ball turnovers in the first half, so Iowa couldn't score off them. But Rutgers just really sloppy. I do think, Pikiell. Carino asked Pikiell about this in the post game about, is it just a bad matchup? And I kind of dug a little further just in terms of, asking him about this. I feel like Iowa, the size and versatility of Iowa matches up well against Rutgers when most teams cannot match up with the size and versatility of Rutgers. The way they can, players that defend and play multiple positions, their length. Iowa can pretty much match up very well, other than Rebraka against Omori. They do that at every position. And I thought that Iowa was just able to dictate the terms of the game. They were able to speed Rutgers up at times. The pace of play was not where Rutgers wanted it to be. And they're unable to kind of dictate the game the way they like to, which they are against a lot of teams. And I think it comes down to, size and versatility, but also Iowa's ability to move the ball, pass the basketball. It negates Rutgers' physicality, their ability to trap. I thought they defended better from the arc, to be honest with you. But, Iowa, they only need a foot and a half space to take a 3. They had 7 guys hit 3s. Hats off to Patrick McCaffrey. First came back after missing 6 due to his leave of absence for mental health. He had suffering anxiety. Just so people are aware, so knucklehead comments out there. He had cancer when he was 18. So he has to be very regimented with his, he has to document his sleep, his nutrition, all these things that a kid his age, doesn't have to do. And he gets anxiety. So, playing for a high pressure team, Big Ten. So it was great to see him come back, not against Rutgers, of course. Wish it was someone else, but he was huge for them, and he didn't play in the first game. He had 9 points, 3 of 3 from 3, had a couple big rebounds, a couple big assists. He just, I think gave them some poise when they needed it. So he was a big factor in this game. Chris Murray, Caleb McConnell, it's like the one bad matchup, I think, for him because just size-wise, he's smaller than Murray. He got into foul trouble. When he was off the floor, Murray took advantage. Rutgers did hold Iowa to 43% shooting overall. It comes about 35% inside the arc, which is pretty good. But again, the 3-point differential, the free throw differential, Rutgers dominated the paint as they should. Could have been more. They missed some layups. They were 16 of 26 on layups. I think, again, the size of Iowa kind of, I don't know what you say, altered some shots, or Rutgers didn't go up strong enough, but they missed some shots that they needed inside. But overall, listen, this team just fights. This team fights. And, you looked at Farrah McCaffrey with 8 minutes to go. Rutgers down 1 point, as well as Iowa had played. He was terrified. And that's what this team does. They grind it out. And, they got contributions from a lot of players tonight. Dean Reber, huge game for him. 8 points, 3 boards. Pikiell rewarded him with minutes. He only played 12, but it felt like he played more. He made some big shots. He was assertive. He made a couple mistakes, but, it's going to happen. And they need as many guys engaged and able to contribute off the bench as possible. Andre Hyatt, again tonight, 16 second half points. Made some big threes, 4 of 7 from 3. He's got ice in his veins, and they need a guy like that. And he played really well. I thought Mag hit some big shots. Mulcahy, 12 points, 13 assists. He did have 4 turnovers. A lot of guys had turnovers tonight. Cliff gave them, what did he get? Cliff was 15 and 8 with 3 blocks. He did have 4 turnovers. I mean, they double teamed him in the first half. It gave him a lot of problems. He's got to be stronger with the ball inside when they gets doubled like that, because teams are going to replicate that now more and more. And he's got to be able to locate the open shooter. That's going to be key to Rutgers' offense, a key moving forward. Cam Spencer couldn't get going from 3 again, 0 for 3. But, he had 10 points, 5 boards, 3 assists, 3 steals. He's still contributing. Not a bad game at all, but he's not the lead scorer that they maybe needed in a game like this, or did need. This team, listen, they're going to continue to grind. I thought it's not about moral victories, but the fact that they couldn't stop Iowa from 3 or getting them to the foul line. They were fouling a lot while defending. They were right there. They were right there. Iowa rattled off that run to gain separation again, and Rutgers couldn't get too close. It was, I think, a 3-point game with 4 minutes to go, 5 minutes to go. Listen, I do think Iowa, a big part of it is a bad matchup, and they've beaten them 3 in a row now. And let's hope they don't see them in the Big Ten tournament. I think it is a outlier. I also think it's kind of a indicators or a loss for words right now, but definitely a team profile that to be aware of. Because if I won't freak people out, if Rutgers makes the NCAA tournament, which they were projected 5 seed across the board coming into this game, you don't want to play a team with Iowa's profile. I don't know how many teams in the country have a profile like Iowa. I'll have to do some research. But, that's what just makes them so lethal, is their size, versatility, but their ability to shoot the 3. I mean, 5 legit shooters. They had 7 guys knock down 3s tonight. It's a problem for a physical defense like Rutgers that likes to put ball pressure, likes to, trap and double. And they weren't able to do much of that. So, again, they did do well inside the arc defensively. And I think, you just got to chalk this up as a hard loss. They fought well. And you go home now. You have Minnesota on Wednesday. Got to win that game, quad 4 game. But that's a get healthy game there on short rest. And then you go to Madison Square Garden with a huge game against Michigan State. Chance for redemption. I know Michigan State torched them from 3 as well. But I think that game can be a lot different at the Garden. Pro Rutgers crowd for sure. Hopefully get a lot of Rutgers fans at that game. But listen, this is a midway point of the season. They're 6-4, or midway part of the Big Ten slate. They're now in the mix with like 3 or 4 other teams. Important to note, KenPom does project Rutgers to finish 13-7 and in second place in the Big Ten. So they definitely have a I don't want to say let's say a winnable slate down the stretch for sure. These next few games are tough. Minnesota at home, got to win that at the Garden for Michigan State. Then you're at Indiana and at Illinois. Indiana's playing red hot, but Rutgers shouldn't be afraid of going there at all. Illinois will be tough. But then listen, you have 2 games with Minnesota left. You got a home game with Nebraska, home game with Northwestern, home game with Michigan, road game at Wisconsin, which is a winnable game right now. So this team's just got to stay the course, keep grinding. It's good to see them get multiple contributions from other guys. They had 5 guys scoring double figures plus Reber with 8. So, 82 points, 51% shooting for Rutgers, 40% from 3, 71% from the foul line. They were just 10-14. Turnovers obviously a problem. They were only plus 3 on the boards. They needed to be better than that. Second chance points, they needed to be better than they were. It was just, plus 4 there. They did have 23 assists on 33 makes. Paul Mulcahy was great distributor tonight with those 13 assists, but things to build on. Bad matchup, but again, it's going to be tough for teams to replicate that kind of matchup against Rutgers. A, being as good of a 3-point shooter, but also B, being able to contend with the size, especially the size of the guards. Not many teams can do that against Rutgers. They're just such a big and versatile team, guys that can guard multiple positions. I really do look at this matchup as an outlier. Iowa's got 2 more home games this week. They got a chance to get hot. I think I would not be surprised at all if they finish top half of the Big Ten and make the NCAA tournament. Not at all. So not a bad loss, tough loss, frustrating loss, hard loss, hard fought, and we move on. And that's what we do. And Rutgers will keep grinding. And I think, huge week ahead. You want to go 2-0. You can't go 2-0 every week. This is a week you can. But even if you go 1-1, I mean, keeping your head above water. And it's going to be a battle the second half of the Big Ten schedule. But Rutgers is right there, and you can't bet against this team. I like they're creating depth now that they haven't had in a while. So I think you're seeing the bench get better, which is going to pay off in the long run. We'll see you Wednesday night at the Rack for Minnesota. And thanks so much for listening and watching. And check out all my coverage at thescarletfaithful.com.